Good morning and welcome to Santa Cruz, California. You're watching the O'Neill Coldwater Classic here at Steamer Lane. Today is Monday, November 5th, and the fifth day of the waiting period as we look to resume competition as we had a pretty eventful day in surfing history yesterday with some major upsets and some pretty high-five surfing. Joe Trappell alongside former WCT competitor John Schmoka. How are you, Schmoo?
I'm great this morning. I've had 2 cups of coffee and I'm ready to go, and so is the surf.
Oh, yeah. We had that swell really peak yesterday, and the good news for us, when we just walked up this morning down the trail, we saw those little insiders that look super fun around the corner. That means that west-northwest is still alive and well out the back.
Certainly is, and I think it's a great call by Chris Gallagher to, we'll get the official call, obviously, but there is surf remaining from this swell that we had yesterday, and during the evening hours as we were walking out of here, Joe, it was bombing.
It sure was. There was a bunch of locals that got out in the lineup and free surf till the sun went down. Even a couple of the CT competitors that will be coming up a little bit later on today. But now you can kind of see that morning light shining on Steamer Lane. A couple of the Loke dogs will get a few little warm-up waves, and we're expecting a lot of people to come here on these cliffs. It was completely maxed out on Sunday. Everyone planned their whole day around cheering on the local hero, Nat Young. Joel Parkinson was successful, though, in taking out the wily Goofyfoot out in the waters to keep that #1 seed alive and well going into round 4.
Yeah, it was an interesting day in so many different ways, as it was the round before. I mean, this event has thrown so much different scenarios right out the window, and it looks like the title race will go to Hawaii.
That's an exciting thing when it comes down to a wave-like pipeline. We'll dive into more scenarios a little bit later on today. At the moment, though, let's get the official call from our contest director, Chris Gallagher. Gally, good morning.
Hey, boys, what's up?
Oh, just getting here bright and early. We thought it looked kind of fun, but we want to get your take. What are you thinking out there?
Yeah, we're it's looking good. Very contestable. You know, the buoys are showing. You know, they dropped a bit, but still good contestable, good size waves coming in. You know, it may drop off a bit through the day, but conditions could improve as well. So it looks like another great day of surfing.
All right, best case scenario, Chris, in terms of today, obviously looks like we're going to get through a fair few heats today.
Yes.
Possible finish Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday?
Probably tomorrow. And even if we tried to finish today, some people may surf 6 times, and that's a bit much for anybody. So, you know, we're going to just run until it looks like things slow down out here. And, you know, maybe the loose plan is to do quarter semis final tomorrow and just really try to pick that next swell, best conditions and best tides.
Pretty exciting to hear what's going on for today. A lot of big heats,
yeah.
And we came off some pretty emotional finishes last night into the dark. Dusty Payne with that massive punt galley compared to what Kelly was doing. Those are the kind of clashes that you like to see at Steamer Lane.
Yeah, just there was progression, there was power, there was you know, last-minute comebacks. There was a little bit of everything yesterday. You really couldn't dial up like a better script. Things just went so good. I'm real slam dunk. So I'm happy, event's happy, fans are happy, surfers are happy. So yeah, great day.
Chris, back-to-back winner here, or multiple winner here at Steamer Lane. Give us your thoughts on throwing an event like this, Steamer Lane. Not an easy wave to ride, right in the middle of Portugal with its beach break power, and then going into pipeline.
Yep.
For me, I love it because these guys, it's another challenge for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're the best in the world at adjusting, you know. I mean, they usually can come into some local spot and figure it out better than they can within a couple of days, you know. But I think the lane really is throwing them for a loop, and there's guys that really adjust well, and there's other guys that almost come in with a negative attitude and never really get their feet. So, you know, it's I think challenges are great for them, and that's what a world champ is, somebody who can adjust to all conditions.
Well, thank you so much, Gally. 7 o'clock start. We'll be checking in with you and we'll bugging you throughout the day to make sure everything's on track. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
All righty, Gally doing a great job. 2-time Coldwater Classic champ, all-time Loke, one of the best Goofyfoots to come out of Santa Cruz of all time. And he is a good guy to have watching the conditions all day long. He's always there for the surfers to talk to and discuss the forecast, which is pretty cool to see. But a big point that you just made, Shmoo, was having this little mix-up in the middle of a world title race at the back end of the year before heading to Pipeline. Talk about a challenge. They just came off such a big contrast of the beach breaks in Europe.
Oh, definitely. You know, you start off on the Gold Coast, which I kind of compare to the Wimbledon arena in England. You know, it's such a great amphitheater and wave itself. The playing surface is unbelievable. Then you go to the iconic Bells Beach, into Rio de Janeiro, so that throws a bit of a spanner into the works there. It's very unpredictable in what you're going to get at that beach break. Then you go to the South Pacific leg, Joe, and you've got the beautiful Fiji and Tahiti. You can't go wrong there, especially if there's good surf like there was this year. I mean, it was monumental in the South Pacific leg this year. And then you go to the fun park at Trestles, off to the south coast of France, which is the best time of year in September, off to Peniche, Portugal. It wasn't as good as 2011, but it was pretty darn good. Julian Wilson coming up with the win there. And then you got the challenge of Santa Cruz before you head to Pipe. And with the world title race that we've had this year, it has definitely thrown things way up in the air.
You have to be so well-rounded these days to be a world champ, and well, just to even be a contender to requalify. Those requalification stories will really be clear and evident throughout the day today. And then at the last event at Pipeline, round 2 was a pretty dramatic one. In this one, not only for the guys trying to requalify, but also for some of the top guys looking for a world title. We saw some of those dreams come to an end in round 2. It started off first thing in the morning yesterday with Kelly Slater taking on Jason Ratboy Collins.
Yeah, you know, he was a bit under the weather. I talked to Jason after the heat. He said he didn't have his legs under him 100%, and it was evident. You know, he really didn't attack the waves like you see most pro surfers do, and he does on a day-to-day basis. Kelly Slater, he did what he had to do to win this heat.
This came down to the wire. They were just going blow for blow, exchanging about fours. Kelly was out the back waiting for something good to really materialize. Finally got this one where he was able to get a hook on the inside, waited to the final minute before eliminating Ratboy.
Interesting post comment that Kelly made was, I need to figure this place out. And he had to in round number 3, which we'll probably see coming up later. But this was his final wave that got him through the heat.
And he also made a board change. So this first heat, he was riding a quad, something we thought he'd ride at the beginning of the event, went back to the thruster that he was warming up on, and it looked much more dynamic under his feet later on in the day. This was a pretty emotional one for two-time world champ Mick Fanning, as he was eliminated by Jadson Andre.
Yeah, look, starting off with a 9.73, Joe, one would tend to think he's going to go on with it if he can just get even a 5 or a 6. But Mick couldn't find it, and Jadson Andre took full advantage.
Right there, that was Mick's best wave, and then Jadson needed a dream run through the inside, got this right that just kept going for him, was able to go off the top and off the bottom. Big carves, and then Mick Fanning got the news. Eliminated early, which is really going to upset that third world title run. He's still in the mix, though, with the mathematics. We'll see what happens at Pipe. Then Matty Wilco, former Coldwater Classic champ, takes out John Florence.
Yeah, look, you know, John, first year on tour and already contending for a world title. What does that tell you? That tells you he's going to be on tour for a long time and challenging for that world title for many years to come. But this man right here, really making a charge in the back end of the year, has won out here before, knows how to surf this wave, and it shows right there.
Wilco under pressure, needing a result. John trying to keep himself in the world title race. He had a big layback release, but that was his only real moment, and he's now no longer chasing a world title heading into Pipe. Julian Wilson was a red jersey that was pretty frustrated with his loss in yesterday's competition. Had a couple of good hooks throughout, but it ended up being Rione Montero once again with big power hooks that ended up doing the trick for him.
Well, how many giants has he slayed in this event? And, you know, coming from Portugal where he defeated Kelly Slater and, you know, somewhat upset his world title campaign coming into this event. And Rione, he said, I just want to surf. I just want to show people I can win, and that's exactly what he did.
That board's looking really solid under his feet. There's that frustration from Julian Wilson coming off a win and then losing in round 2. He was pretty frustrated. Then we saw Kolohe Andino take on Jeremy Flores. We always thought Kolohe was really going to be on fire on the waves here at Steamer Lane with big fin throws like this, but Jeremy ended up taking advantage of the walls out there.
I agree with you. I thought Kolohe was going to be factored into the quarterfinals, just the way he can approach this type of wave here at Steamer Lane. But experience played youth yesterday, and experience prevailed.
Big hacks and finishes from Jeremy Flores, who has such a good read on the open face out here. Big dynamic carves, and he'll able to change it up with variety through that inside section. He actually thought he lost at the end and was already thinking maybe I'll go home packing, but he took the big win there. Ace Buchan, though, on his back end, put up some of the highest numbers of the event so far.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love the way Ace surfs, and he just really attacked this wave. He knows on his backhand, you really need to stay nice and tight. There's a great O'Neill slow-mo, and, you know, he stays so tight in the pocket, which allows him to do those big backhand turns that we're seeing here on screen, and he just went on with it.
Well, he had his first high 8 where he really just capitalized on the inside wall. Then when he got a wave where he started out the back with that form, he needed to get a high 9, and he just never looked back. Had this one comboed, wrapped up, and that backhand is going to continue to haunt people here at Steamer Lane. Alejo Moniz looked lightning fast on his forehand in his round 2 matchup. Super smooth and back into the pocket. This guy's looking like he is returning to that kind of form he came on the tour with.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people talking about his speed, but man, this kid's got a lot of power too in his surfing. You can see him really driving that back foot there, just hitting that tail pad as hard as he possibly can, controlling the turns and really not overturning here at Steamer Lane, which a lot of guys have done, and they've paid the price.
He ended up taking out Miguel Pupo, who was acting as the defending champ here at Steamer Lane, but he was quick to root on his fellow Brazilian into the next heat, and Alejo Moniz is going to be pretty dangerous coming in to the later rounds of this event. So pretty classic second round showing for all the competitors. The major stories there was losing Mick Fanning and John Florence in the early stages there, but we did see Kelly live on to surf another day into round 3 as we go for another big dramatic day today with this early morning sunrise coming here to Santa Cruz and Steamer Lane. There's been some gorgeous mornings, and we've been really taking advantage of the amazing weather out here, Shmoo.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Swell, sun, and fun. You know, surfing is fun, and we've been enjoying all the highs and the lows and the dramas of this event so far. The second to the last stop on the ASP World Tour for 2012.